Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ungainly Titan. First off, apologies for the lateness of this video. This was not the video I intended to make for today. I was originally planning on making a video on the Ford Triumph update 0.11.2, of which I think quite favourably. However, it turns out that the NVIDIA recording software that I use, NVIDIA Shadow plays it, we started producing the video at 60 frames a second. I think probably had it set to 30 frames, but I suppose a recent update reset it back to 60 frames, and Coral Video Studio didn't like it and would refuse to render it. I'd have no problem in the video studio. I could play through it, record the voice. I had everything done. I was finished at 1 o'clock. I went rendering, and it told me there was unreadable frames. I then spent the rest of the day looking for software to fix this. There's nothing really out there. Well, the stuff out there is commercial. VLC media playback is supposed to do it. It didn't do it, not in a way that Carl would recognise. What you call it? There's other solutions out there, but you have to pay for them and you have to pay for them if you figure out their work. They'll do it and they'll let you preview it, but see, it previewed fine. It'll play on any of the media players I had. It's just that when it came to the rendering, Coral Video Studio would throw a fit. I updated the newer version of Coral just on a trial basis, and that would render it, but it would put it out. It was really bad quality. The step down, obviously, it didn't like it. It was a lot of pixelation and color distortion. So I'm just going to have to reset and record with just a lower resolution and see how that goes. Anyway, to get back to the tank. The TKS ZNKM 20mm light tank. Yes, it seems to record itself as a light tank. Although it's fixed gun turret, it's 20mm. It's actually quite a lot of fun. I bought it about 6 months ago, but I never really got around to using it. I bought it when I thought that I was going to finish the British and American line there and then, and it turned out I hadn't, because I still had to grind out the Badger into Tier 10 tank destroyer. And I was looking at the Polish tech tree and I was thinking, this is a one that I could complete quite easily. There's just one tech tree and it's one line of tanks. But I needed a crew trainer, and I was looking at the tech tree, and there was a choice of two. There's this and the Poodle, and I knew nothing about the Poodle, and I thought it was a little on the expensive side. Whereas this was cheap enough that you couldn't really go wrong. And it's not a bad little tank. It's actually quite a fun tank, I think. The biggest problem actually is that Tier 2. The whole meta of Tier 2 has changed considerably because the player population is no longer really able to support 15 versus 15 games at Tier 2. So this is the biggest downside. The tank's fine. It's as much fun as any other. I mean, it's got feck all in the line of armour, and the gun is a bit underpowered. But it's adequate. There's a lot worse Tier 2 tanks out there. There are better as well, but there are massively overpowered Tier 2 tanks as well. However, the problem isn't the tank. The problem is, as I said, the whole thing at Tier 2 at the moment. You have a lower player population, so you don't always get a full roster. You don't get 15 versus 15, and you can be waiting quite a while. I've had waits of in around 5 minutes. Now, I've heard on the forums people saying that they're starting to populate the server with bots when the queue times are getting long or the server populations are getting low. I haven't experienced it. I have played it a couple of times since, and I've had less than 15 versus 15 games. This is actually one of the more recent games without seeing any bots. As you can see, that T2 medium is actually out of gun range. I'm going to have to go forward to where I might possibly be seen. So the tank itself, as I said, is fun. It's a reasonably effective crew trainer, and I think, well, I've gotten the Poodle since, and I will be doing a first look at the Poodle as well. I really like the Poodle actually, and so I think that the combination of the two of them actually, you get a crew trained up pretty rapidly, because you'll get the first time win daily boost to experience, as well as all the other boosts to experience that go on at the moment with the whole what you call it, free tank campaign. So I reckon, yeah, you're trying to cruise reasonably rapidly, especially for the first 4 skills, which don't cost huge amounts of XP anyway. And yeah, once you're trained up that way, you are quite ready to go. Like, the rest will accumulate as you go up through the tech tree, and you won't need to use the premium tanks quite as much. Especially if you don't need to use the tank for silver earning, or you don't need to use premium tanks for silver earning. And there are probably better silver earners. You know, I mean, there are tanks out there that are really good at silver earning, like the KV5 and Yak Tiger 8.8 centimeter. Those tanks are probably much better at silver earning. You're buying the Polish premium tanks, I think, mostly for crew training. And you will, well, I don't think I've lost silver on them. So, yes, it trundles around. It doesn't have much in the line of armour. It's typical tier 2 tank. Doesn't have great view range either. There's nothing, but the fact that it's an autoloader or an autocannon does mean that you're dishing out fairly intimidating levels of firepower, because the gun is reasonably enough. It's effective enough that, you know, 30% of them will go through or something like that, and that'll still do a lot of damage, because 20 points of damage at tier 2 is a lot. So we have a case here now on point. The enemy have been whittled down to nothing. This guy didn't come around the corner, and your man has come out and started shooting me. Now, I start shooting back, but he has removed more health than I have, so he's actually winning, because he was at full health. However, now he backs out into the open, and somebody shoots him from across the valley because he's spotted, and he just gets obliterated. But it holds up reasonably well, and it's not a bad tank. So there's not much more to say about it. I don't think anything particularly remarkable about it. It wouldn't be a Seal Clubber's tank of choice or anything like that, unlike, say, the Panzer 38Hs or the T1 E6X, whatever it is. The T-Rex, that's a pretty effective tank for that kind of carry on. And there's a few other Panzer 2Js, is it? Various things like that. Tier 3s as well that are very effective tanks for their tier. So overall, I think a fun little tank. Certainly when it's cheap enough. Although, like I said, at this point, the Poodle is probably the better buy. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.